When you think of 2D platformers on the N64, you're sadly left with a short list to draw from. The 16-bit era delivered so many classics, but when the N64 was released, it seemed every developer wanted to push onto 3D games, and so one of the most popular genres seemed to be lost. Nintendo had a stab with Yoshi's Story, which for many of us was a letdown. Other options, such as Tigger's Honey Hunt, were aimed solely towards the younger gamers, leaving those of us past puberty feeling neglected. If there's one thing the 16-bit era taught us, it was that the Disney licensed games generally meant solid games which offered great gameplay and just enough challenge to keep us coming back. Activision picked up the license for Tarzan, a 1999 movie which was a solid animated adventure from Disney. They left the porting of the game to the N64 to British studio Eurocom, and this was published in the year 2000. For those of you gaming historians, yes, this was originally a PlayStation title, however the N64 port outshines its Sony brother in so many areas, so let's take a look. The story of the game follows a movie scene for scene. The basic story of Tarzan is it follows a young boy who is being raised into adulthood by apes. Tarzan comes across a group of humans for the first time and naturally falls in love with the leading female. It's a basic story, but this game is all about the gameplay. You play as Tarzan in both boy and man stages of his life, and this takes place over 13 levels. Each level also has a bonus stage which you can unlock by getting enough of the hidden items. At times during the game, you'll also play as other characters from the movie, which offers a nice distraction and mixes up the gameplay style. The controls of Tarzan are some of the tightest on the system. It's just as well as you'll be needing to use your full range of moves in order to complete the game. Tarzan can jump, swim, use a knife, throw fruit, and naturally swing from vine to vine and even slide down them at various points in the game. There is even a ground pound which you'll need to unearth some of the secrets, so going back along the levels to unearth these is quite a challenge. There are 3 difficulty modes to play, but I suggest starting the game on hard mode right away. This is one of the main problems with the game. In easy mode you cannot finish the whole game, and even on the higher difficulties the game is far too easy. I can understand that this game would have been marketed towards children to tie in with the movie, but anyone with even a slight love of platformers would be able to complete this game in one sitting, and only the most dedicated gamers would want to go back and 100% complete every level. Yes, there are bonus stages to unlock, and finding all of the items is a challenge, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the story mode is just far too short. Without a multiplayer mode to keep you coming back, I'd say that Tarzan was a star that shone twice as bright, but for half as long. The bonus stages fall into 4 categories. Firstly, you have the camp raids, where you play as either Turk or Tarzan, and you run around the camps collecting as much as possible, and often need to bounce onto the canvas to reach the better items. Secondly, you have the vine surfing levels, where you slide down vines whilst ducking under branches and jumping over obstacles. It can be challenging at times, but mostly due to the camera position and the speed at which you travel. The animal-based bonus stages are fun. You either need to ride on an elephant or fly on top of a bird and try to make it to the end of the level before your time runs out. There are purple fruit which you can collect to give yourself more time. Finally are the river rides, where you'll float and paddle down rivers collecting items whilst dodging obstacles. These bonus stages are really fun, and on the higher difficulties have lots of obstacles in your path to stop you in your tracks. Looking at the game, and pretty much everyone would agree that it looks fantastic. Being a 2D game meant that more work could be put into the creation of the vibrant jungle environments, which gives the game its totally unique look. The N64 version has better colours than its PlayStation counterpart, but sadly the FMV from the PlayStation version has been replaced here with static images. In this instance, it doesn't detract from the game overall that much, but the feel of the game is lost slightly however, and the move was understandable due to the restraints of the cart format. The levels are packed with well animated characters from the movie, and the enemies look well designed and fit in with the overall visual presentation of the game. You'll encounter a nice range of enemies, but the level design is where the game really shines, and throughout the game you'll be offered multiple routes to explore. Exploration is a key part of the game, as there are items to collect in order to get 100% complete, and you'll also need to think outside of the box and really go off the beaten track to find everything. In the sound department the game is solid but nothing incredible. The MIDI ports of the movie score are fitting to the gameplay, but in my opinion it sounds a little soft and lacking sharpness. The character speech during gameplay doesn't actually get annoying, and if anything it helps to bring the characters more to life. Now for those of you who are game collectors like me, this game is not common, but at the same time it's not the hardest game to find. The challenge you may have is finding a box copy in good condition. As with many games aimed towards children, the boxes seem to have been neglected and in many cases crushed. Now if you're in North America, then the copy of the game to be on the lookout for is the Big Box Edition, which came complete with toys. Getting one of these complete is one of the biggest challenges for any N64 collector, and so expect to pay big bucks if you come across one. In my opinion, Tarzan 64 is somewhat of a hidden gem on the console. It's a game often overlooked and its sales were less than stellar on its release. With retrospect, we can now look at this game and take it for what it is, a solid 2D platformer with some beautiful graphics and animation. It's not a game which will keep you coming back, but if you want to enjoy an afternoon with a game to complete in one sitting, then I'd have no hesitation in recommending Tarzan as a great choice. So over to you as always, and this time I'd love to know what your thoughts on the game are. Do you think this is a game that was overlooked on its release? Have you gone back and checked this game out recently, and if so, what did you think of it? If you're an N64 gamer the first time around, why did you or why didn't you pick this game up? As always, sound off in the comments below, and until next time.